Creating automations is obviously a really important part of like music production, mixing, mastering, but it can be kind of finicky sometimes, especially if you're just getting used to Ableton and like navigating and all that. So I figured I'd take you through a couple of ways that I like to do automations to just make my life a little bit easier. So the first one is if I want to create an automation over a specific area, I can just select that area and then hover my mouse over the automation line, and you'll see that it goes a different color. And once it changes color, you can click down and then you can drag that entire section up or down. So let's say I wanted to just like turn down the volume of these last few kicks in the outro. I can just highlight the section, hover over this little part, and then I can drag it down and you can see the value changes, right? The second tip is also a huge time saver. So let's say I wanted to specifically lower this 1 dB. Instead of clicking and dragging and trying to hold shift and really finely adjusting the value so I get to negative a decibel, I can just highlight the section, hover over the automation line, right click, edit value, and then you can just type in the value. So I can just type in -1. The next is drawing in those ramp style automations. So instead of like making a point here, making an anchor point here, and then dragging this, highlight the section, then you'll see these little squares that kind of pop up around the outside. If I want to make kind of a ramp shape up, I'm going to go to this corner and I can click and drag that bottom square and it's going to make a perfect ramp shape. And if I wanted to go the other way, I would just grab the other corner, click and drag up, and it's going to make a ramp down. And then the same type of idea, if the automation was starting up here, I could highlight this section and then make a ramp down that way. The next one is adding some bend to this automation. So maybe we don't want it to be like completely linear. Maybe we want to have it come in more at the end, or maybe start off a little bit stronger at the beginning. And so the way that you do that again is you hover your mouse over the line here, and when it changes color, hold Option down, and if you drag down, it'll bend it this way, and if you drag your mouse up, it'll bend it this way. The next one is copying pasting automation. So let's say that I made this like really cool, filter automation that's really intricate, and if I wanted this to keep repeating, I can either highlight this section, press Command C, and then Command V, or I can just press Command D and it'll duplicate the pattern out. The one thing with copying and pasting or duplicating automations, and this is where it kind of gets finicky, is you have to stay in this area underneath this like name bar up here. Otherwise, if you select this entire thing, you can see how this like top segment is highlighted too. It's also going to duplicate the audio in addition to the automation. If we just want to copy the automation and leave the actual audio stuff intact, we just have to highlight this segment underneath this name bar up here. And the same thing goes for deleting or clearing the automation. If I want to delete the automation here, I can select this area and just press delete. But if I select this whole thing, including the name bar, and then press delete, you'll see that it gets rid of the audio as well. Hope this helps.